Good afternoon and welcome to Feed Yourself Well. As anticipated, today's recipe is one I've been looking forward to. It's the Southern Maryland stuffed ham. Now, I had no idea anything about the Southern Maryland stuffed ham until about a year ago when I got a chance to taste it. And it is full of flavor. It is one of those dishes that is attached to a very small area. It's a regional dish. It really doesn't get too far outside of Southern Maryland and primary St. Mary's County. It's where it's really popular during the holidays. There's some lore around the recipe as well that it originated as an enslaved food that they would prepare during the holidays or during special times. Also that it was used as a meal for Jesuit priests after breaking fast. So you usually see it around a holiday, whether it's Easter or Christmas is when the ham really gets popular. And it's one of those dishes that varies from house to house. Some people like it one way, some people like it another. So there is some wiggle room in how to prepare it, but there are a few things that you have to have. One is a corned ham. Corning is a process of brining. So much like you would brine something to cure it, corning does the same thing. So if you had corned beef, this is the same process just applied to a ham. So it's a corned ham and it's been deboned. So the bone is removed from the leg, it's butterflied open, and then we're going to actually stuff that with our ingredients. So let's get started with our first ingredient. Now for this stuffing, I've chopped up 2 pounds of collard green leaves. Be sure to pick the stems out. You don't want any stems in there at all. So this is 2 pounds of chopped collards. To this, I'm going to add in 2 pounds of chopped kale. And it's going to really fill this bowl up, but you'll see it's going to also shrink down once we start adding other ingredients to it. Okay, so 2 pounds of collards, 2 pounds of kale that have been chopped. To this, I'm going to add salt and pepper first. The reason I'm adding the salt and pepper first is to make sure that that salt helps to break down some of the kale. Some people like to take these greens and wilt them first and then use them through blanching and then chopping them or leaving them in larger pieces as part of the stuffing. I'm going to let the salt do the work and really kind of break it down. So this is about 3 tablespoons of salt and 2 tablespoons of black pepper. And I'm just going to sprinkle that generously all over. And that's going to start helping to break down some of the fibers of the greens, but also it's going to start pulling some of the moisture out. And that's going to shrink it down as well. Okay, so I've got about 2 tablespoons of celery seed. That's in. I've got about 3 to 4 tablespoons of mustard seed also. Mustard seed is a key ingredient that has to be there. I think kale, mustard seed, and cabbage show up in just about every formula or recipe that I looked at for this dish. Okay, so I'm going to add in now some dried mustard. This is just powdered dried mustard. That goes in. Optional is red pepper flakes. Some people like it with a little kick. Every time I've had it, it's had a little spiciness to it. This is a contribution from the Caribbean. So slaves were moving back and forth along the Atlantic seaboard. And one thing that they did bring to the Maryland area, which was still very much a colony at the time of being colonized, Europeans didn't eat a lot of peppery or spicy foods. So this was introduced from the Caribbean. Okay, so pepper's in. Next, I'm going to add cabbage. This is 1 whole head of cabbage that has been chopped also. I've got 1 whole head of celery. This is the entire head of celery. that has been chopped. That goes in. And then I'm going to do about 2 pounds of chopped onions. That's in. Very aromatic with all these cut vegetables. Now, this is a great vegan stuffing at this point. It's just vegetables, right? We haven't added anything to it that is non-plant based. So this could be used to stuff cabbage rolls or to stuff bell peppers mixed with rice or something. You could use this for a variety of dishes. Now that I've gotten everything together, I'm just going to take my hands and gently start to mix everything through. And then once I'm done with this part, I'm going to let this rest for about 15-20 minutes, and it's going to start to really shrink down. So I'll keep this going, get it mixed in. We'll let it set up for about 20 minutes, and then we'll start prepping our ham. So I put down a piece of cheesecloth about 3 feet long, and I opened it up, and I'm going to lay my corned ham that's already been boned right on top. Now, as I do that, I do want to put some stuffing underneath to make a bed, just for the ham to rest on. And I'll come back and put some on this side as well. We're going to use all the stuffing too, so it's all going to get loaded in to the ham. Now this is kind of oddly cut, so what I want to do is find spots in the ham where I can make pockets, but I don't want to cut all the way through. I just want to go as close as I can get, and I want to make several of these all throughout, going in the same direction, because as I stuff them, they're going to fill with the mixture. Again, I'm not going all the way through. I'm just making pockets. It's going to increase the volume of the ham also. Once we start filling the pockets, it's going to get nice and big. All right. And just continue on until you got nice pockets all the way through that you can fill with that dressing. I'm going to come along this way. This is a just under 10 pounds, so about 9 3/4 pounds of boned corned ham. This filling is enough to do anywhere from a 9 to 11 pound ham, so you're good with this amount of filling ratio to actual ham. And I'm just opening up those pockets so I can fill them. And let's do one more right here. There we go. All right, so we've got all our pockets ready. And we're just going to start back, and we're going to stuff all the way in. Really press it in good. That's going to flavor the ham all the way through. And you're just going to keep stuffing until you get all that stuffing down into the ham. And we'll, even whatever we have extra, we're going to top with it, so it's surrounded by the stuffing. Just really get it in there good. Let's open this guy up a little bit more. There we go. And another nice handful right into the pocket. So we got our ham loaded, and I'm still just packing the stuffing on top. It is totally full and busting at the seams. And next, we're going to close it up inside of the cheesecloth. So the first step is I want to take that opposite side and flip it over on top. Okay? So I've got all that nice stuffing around the rim, and I'm just going to start to close my cheesecloth around, and this is really going to help hold the shape. And I'm going to do corner to corner tie off for the first one, and then I'm going to reach around to the other side and do corner to corner tie off. Now the good thing is that I can continue to tighten these as I need to and get it as tight as you possibly can to keep this package bundled up nice. Now to this, I'm going to tie it off, and one more time here, and we're going to help it along to hold the shape with some butcher's twine. I'm going to trim these tails because they're going to be in my way, so let's just get those out of there. And next is our butcher's twine. I got a nice long piece of butcher's twine right here that we're going to actually use to help additionally hold this ham together. So I'm going to start right at one end, and I'm just going to make a knot, just like that. And then I'll loop it and slide it underneath. Then I can pull it to tighten it. It's really important that you keep the ham nice and tight to keep the shape. Let's get under there. Get that twine worked in. And I have one more to this side. Help hold this guy together. Okay, and we'll flip it. We're going to take our extra twine and just loop it under, and this is going to help secure the other side as well. Okay, so we got our ham completely trussed with butcher's twine, and I'm just going to tie off the end so that it'll stay secure. And as an added layer, I'm going to put one more piece of cheesecloth and repeat the bundle process, tying corner to corner. That's going to add a little bit of insurance just in case we get a blowout during cook time. So we don't want to blow out while things are cooking. And we're going to add one more piece of cheesecloth and tie it off with our corner to corner bundle. Now, how are we going to cook it? This ham is going to be placed into a 16-quart stock pot, fitted with a rack in the bottom. You want to make sure you put a rack in the bottom so the ham doesn't rest on the bottom and scorch while cooking. So put a little small rack or a small pan or something in there just to keep it from sitting with contacting to the bottom of the pot. Okay. So this is done. Then we're going to cover it with cold water, light the fire, and it's going to simmer for anywhere from 3.5 to 4 hours. The average cook time is anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes per pound. So this is a little over 9 pounds of ham, almost 10. It's going to take at least 3 hours to get to the point of doneness that we're looking for. So this is ready to go into the bath. We'll get that started, and then we're going to slice one that's already been prepared. Okay, so we've got that 9-pound ham in a stock pot All I got to do is cover it with water, light it, and simmer. It's going to take about 3.5 hours to cook completely. This is one I've already prepared. So this ham was prepared. It cooked for about 4 hours, almost 4 hours. And then it has to be cooled. So it needs to cool in the pot, in the liquid, for about an hour. Let it calm down, then remove it from the pot. Let it continue to cool for about another 30 minutes or so, just on the countertop. And then enter the refrigerator still bundled up. It needs to stay in the refrigerator for at least 24 hours before you're ready to serve it. So this recipe takes some pre-work. You can't do it the day before. You gotta plan out for it so you have enough time to get it done. So the first thing we're gonna do is just cut off our additional cheesecloth bag. And just open away. And then we can remove our butcher's twine. It did its job. It kept everything in place. Okay, so butcher's twine is down on all sides. Now I'm going to remove the second bundle. These kitchen shears are perfect to do the job. Okay, you can see some of that stuffing that was packed on is there. Now I'm just going to lift the ham, remove all that cheesecloth out of there. Oh, little tumble of stuffing, but that's okay. It's going to be loose. That can be discarded. And there's our stuffed ham. Now, many different folks say trim off some of the fat off the top. You don't want to add all of that to it, so just trim a little bit of that fat away. Just down the side there. Got a little fat on this side I'm going to trim away. And just come back and get this little piece off right there. Okay, now the cutting of the ham or the carving of the ham. When you're carving it, remember we rolled it shut, so we want to reveal all the work that we put into actually prep it. I'm just going to start cutting off little slices at a time until I'm starting to reveal the stuffing on the inside. And there it is. You can see those pockets. Oh yeah, can you guys see that? There it is. It's a great picture of the ham. I'm going to hold it at the top. Again, this is served cold and the dressing is going to fall out. That's totally okay to see that happening. Nice. And then I'm going to flip it back over so it doesn't roll undone. But you can really see all that stuffing in there. And then this is just moved over to a serving platter. And there's the Southern Maryland stuffed ham. This is a good thing. Easy to do, tastes really good. It's served just like this on a platter, and it's best served as sandwiches. It is amazing as a sandwich. So that's how we're gonna have it tonight, as sandwiches. Remember, turn on your notifications, subscribe, leave a comment if it's something you wanna see. Next week is our Christmas breakfast casserole. See you then, and remember, feed yourself well.